We take our focus to more developments. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held bilateral talks with his Chinese counterpart, Admiral Dong on Thursday. On the sidelines of the Defence Ministers' meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Qingdao, Rajnath Singh has stated that they had a constructive and forward-looking exchange of the views on issues pertaining to bilateral relations. He expressed his happiness on restarting of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra after a gap of nearly 6 years. Additionally, the Defence Minister emphasized that it is incumbent on both the sides to maintain this positive momentum and avoid adding new complexities in the bilateral relationship. Remember, the diplomatic engagements between India and China have increased after the two nations agreed to disengagement at the borders 8 months ago. However, India is cautious about China's ties with Pakistan, especially in the backdrop of the Pahalgam terror attack. At the SCO meeting, Rajnath Singh has refused to sign the joint statement of the regional body because it diluted India's stand on the terrorism and the Pahalgam terror attack. All right, Major General Sudhagarji joins me this morning. In fact, thank you, sir, for speaking to us. Always a pleasure to have you on the broadcast. And as right now, the biggest takeaway that we see from the SCO is not a joint statement. How do you put this in perspective with India's reinforcement and also the pressure to be put enough on a world platform over non-tolerance, over the intolerance over the terrorism, and how Raksha Mantri has reiterated the fact that India cannot compromise on these fronts?
Simran, good morning. Thank you for taking me on Sonap for your morning show. At the very outset, I wish to compliment our Honorable Defence Minister for having taken the right stand, and also, in effect, he has drawn out a red line beyond which India cannot take such issues lightly. I think the fact that the Cabinet Committee meeting, they outlined a one-liner during Operation Sindoor that an act of terror will be taken as an act of war against India. That itself is a doctrinal statement for the independent nation India post-1947. I think it has happened for the first time. Traditional doctrine for anyone and everyone, not only the Defence Minister, regardless of appointment and status, anyone going abroad or inside the country, that should be the stated position of our country, which is very well done. Third point I wish to highlight is that it is a conspiracy between Pakistan and China, which has been called out loudly by our Defence Minister, having dug in his heel and refused to sign the joint statement. Thereby, we have called it out loudly, and we also have put Pakistan in the limelight that it is a state of terror, which is actually surviving on the fundamental central point of transborder terrorism. They export only one thing from the country, that is terrorism, whereas India is exporting multiple products across the world to different parts of the world and to different countries. Fourth point I wish to highlight is, you see, whether the conspiracy theory is established or not, I have no evidence to share. But being a student of geopolitics, I can only join dots. Balochistan is turning out to be a point of convergence as far as China and the USA is concerned. It's a well-known fact that there is a strategic rivalry within Pakistan. Either of USA or China is trying to push out the other from its dominance. Balochistan being what it is, there is a huge deposit of rare earth element which America is going in for signing the MOU with Pakistan. And China having invested around $62 billion or more, and out of which 45 to 48 billion has already been expended on ground on CPEC, and also spent so much money at Gwadar port and been signed for 40 years of lease, is not in a position to forego any of such kind of financial commitments and the expenditures that the nation has borne. So therefore, willy-nilly, the convergence between USA and China is actually pointing towards Balochistan, where the strategic rivalry may turn into a friction in times ahead. There may be a global fight between these two superpowers in future. We need to actually, call this out sooner or later and highlight this particular aspect in our internally and also externally. Last but not the least is that our Honorable Defence Minister has done his job very well. I think we need to flag the point at the international level and highlight the meaning of terrorism, and also keep asking the world order to adopt a kind of a counter strategy to address the menace of terrorism all over the world, whether it is India or London or Paris or USA or any country for that matter. It has to have a common meaning, it has to have a common understanding, it has to have a common, almost a bipartisan kind of a rule in the 21st century, liberal, democratic, rules-based international order. Thank you.
Absolutely. In fact, Major General Sudhakar ji very rightly put, and I would also request you to kindly stay on with us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.